Hey, what's up, guys? Ben from My Sports Stop here with Richie Donnell. Today we're going to talk about the Bengals draft class of 2017.
Yeah, this was a confusing draft for me. Their first two picks I thought were overdrafted, but two boom or bust type of prospects. John Ross, obviously, with the speed on the outside. The bust being you got to worry about the injuries and concerns there. And in the second round, they got arguably one of the best, if not the best, complete package running back in the draft, but coming obviously with the media scrutiny, and that is Joe Mixon. I think for Mixon, this is I think it's gonna go away eventually. Yeah. Besides that, that one occurrence, Mixon has never been in trouble for anything. So I think even though that's a black cloud, I think eventually, if Mixon continues on the rehabilitation train, it'll go away. But the rest of their class was a bunch of really good depth. Yeah. But this was a team that missed the playoffs for the first time in a couple of years and thought that they should have tried to get more immediate ready talent.
Well, and I mean, just going back to Joe Mixon, probably the most controversial pick. Philly let it heard that they did not like that pick. A ton of boos, and he's gonna be getting a ton of questions asked throughout training camp, and really until he proves himself on the field. Right. So definitely an off the field distraction, but they added a ton of depth at defensive end, and that's what I wanted them to do. Jordan Willis at number 73, a huge steal. Yes, a huge steal in my opinion. And then in the fourth round, they went along and got Carl Lawson. Who, athletically, he's a first-round guy. Yes. To me, he kind of disappointed at Auburn, but he has the skills to become a great player in the NFL. Yep. And then they also went off and got Josh Malone, a wide receiver. Right now, with their wide receiver core, A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, if you add John Ross and Josh Malone to that group, not a bad crew for Andy Dalton to throw at.
Yeah, and I think Josh Malone, for where they got him, was a great pick because Josh Malone is kind of that guy where I think they brought him in for injury purposes. Yeah. Tyler Boyd was a little bit more talented coming out of school, where last year he was able to step in right away and produce at a higher level as a number 2 receiver. But having lost A.J. Green in the last 2 years at the end of the season, John Ross's injury questions, I think Josh Malone was a good guy to kind of add there for depth down the road, whether it's just to let him develop or throw him out there in case of an emergency.
All right, so what grade do you give him?
Yeah, I gave him a B- just solely for the fact of I thought their first 2 picks were overdrafted, just because John Ross and Joe Mixon are such boom or bust. If they both boom, this is going to be an A. Yeah. If they both bust, you're probably looking at a C or a D, depending upon how that depth develops that they got in the later rounds.
And I'm going to give him an A-. John Ross, I mean, I've been talking about him before the Combine. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. I think he'll be Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll see what happens to Joe Mixon. Yeah. I don't know. But in my opinion, they got 3 big defensive steals. Jordan Willis, Carl Lawson, and one of my favorite players, Ryan Glasgow, in the 4th round. He's going to be, to me, a valuable replacement for D'Amato Pico, who's been their defensive tackle for the past decade. So partnering him up with Geno Atkins, I think it's going to be pretty exciting. So, and then they have plenty of other players in this draft. They really stocked up, giving this team depth.
Yeah, adding J.J. Dielman and Jordan Evans later.
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to go to our website, mysportstop.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more original videos.